block? Yes. So here we go. Our second block of today is called Spiritism and Me, an informal conversation. This will be a roundtable with SGNY members about the importance of Spiritism in their lives and their experience at SGNY. This will be mediated by Flavia Barker. Flavia was born in São Paulo, Brazil. She was raised Catholic and Spiritist. She's a florist, a gifted florist, and a Reiki master with a degree in economics. And she has been working as a medium since her youth and is an active member of SGNY for almost 15 years. So welcome, Flavia.
Unmute, sorry. Hello all, I am Flavia and I have been a member and worker of SGNY for almost 15 years. And I have to say that for me it's truly an honor to be considered a member of such dedicated and serious group of Spiritists. It really is. And with that said, I would like to introduce you to some of our SGNY workers. We'll talk about how they came across this beautiful doctrine called Spiritism and how Spiritism influenced their lives. So our first member will be Carol Androdi. Hi, Carol.
Hey, thanks, Flavia, and thank you, everyone. Hi, how are you? And I appreciate the invitation.
It's our pleasure. This is a very special day for all of us.
Very special, right?
So, Carol, how did Spiritism came into your life?
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of a readout of how I came to become a Spiritist. I've been with SGNY for 6 years, but it wasn't really a direct path. I would say it was very circuitous. But if you will indulge me, I will share that journey with you. I was born and raised in the Midwestern part of the United States in Indiana, Iowa, and Illinois. It is known as the land of corn, soybeans, and sensibility. My parents were honest, ethical, good providers, and loving, but very strict. They left the Catholic Church and joined the Shriners, Masonic Lodges, and Eastern Star. This was always mysterious to me because my parents never discussed their participation. My younger brother and I were raised Christian, and we visited an assortment of churches, temples, and houses of worship. However, whenever I attended Sunday school, I preferred the arts and crafts projects. I didn't really care or much care for the singing and the sermons. However, I was always curious about something. I always wondered what was behind those wine-colored velvet curtains at the church altar. And how did Jesus actually walk on water and heal the sick and tormented people? My mother and I read Fate magazine from cover to cover when it arrived in the mail. These articles documented many strange metaphysical experiences. I loved this. I love the mysterious things in life. In contrast, my dad provided more practical lessons about being kind, respectful, considerate, plus the importance of tithing and being a cheerful giver. My father died rather unexpectedly when I was age 13 in junior high school. And my first connection, and I'll put this in quote, connection, quote unquote, with Spiritism occurred when his spirit visited me at 2 a.m. and he spoke about his transitioning. He was passing from this world to another world. He said, "Don't worry, you will always be taken care of. I will help you and I love you. My dad's presence quickly left, but his warmth and caring remained within me. His communication was so real and affirming that I didn't cry when my mother told me of my dad's passing. To me, he was indeed alive, just in a different form and departing on a new journey, which I didn't fully understand, yet I trusted. During my junior high days, I became active in sports and art, and I started reading about Edgar Cayce and about the 7 wonders of the world. I then created this huge papier-mâché replica of the Great Pyramid, which my mother and I amusingly had to haul and navigate to my geography class. After several months, I started feeling okay about life and physical death. I had slowly processed the loss of my father, which had gradually caught up with me. In high school, I majored in art and business and worked every summer for a family of commercial photographers. I loved working and became more responsible and grounded. On weekends, I volunteered at the Northern Indiana Mental Hospital. It was very challenging, yet a rewarding new experience. Surprisingly, I felt deeply connected to the patients, especially when I saw the most amazing and revealing paintings that they had created. I never thought that those patients were crazy. I planned to attend the Chicago Art Institute, but changed directions and attended an Indiana college and graduated with a degree in art, a teaching degree actually. My secondary interest was psychology, and I spent my free time in the library reading about the amazing writings of Carl Jung. During summer breaks, I attended the historic Spiritualist Camp Chesterfield near my college. I took classes about spiritual development, healing, reincarnation, and mediumship. This made a strong impact on my life. I connected with the wisdom teachings, and I was really in awe of the mediums. Their knowledge of spirit inspired me to a quest for a spiritual life. In the autumn after college graduation, I backpacked and hitchhiked through Europe for 3 months. My objective was to visit all the museums and cathedrals that I had studied in art history. I stayed in youth hostels and learned so much from my fellow travelers. I indeed improved my wits and intuition. Luckily, I felt the protection of the unseen forces. A day after I arrived, the unfortunate massacre took place at the 1972 Munich Olympics. I could have been there, except that my backpack was mistakenly rerouted to a different city. Much later, during my visits to Florence and Venice, Italy, I strongly perceived that I had once lived there as an artist, painter, and map maker. Although I didn't know much about past lives, it helped me to expand my self-discovery. When I returned to the Midwest, it was a difficult transition, back to daily routines, various jobs, and finding new friends. I started doing yoga and meditation and joined the Unitarian Church, where I helped with services, art displays, and progressive community activities. However, my inner life was contracting. So often I visited an outdoor grotto to meditate and pray for guidance. Months later, I experienced a dazzling encounter in a dream. A very advanced luminous spirit guided me to travel to the Southwest to continue my spiritual studies. With faith, trust, and not much planning, I would drive across America in a 1955 Buick on a wonderful adventure. Shortly before launching my trip, unexpectedly, I met an elder medium visiting a metaphysical bookstore. She confirmed and even blessed my travel plans before I even spoke. The goodness of spirit became more evident, and I felt aligned and inspired to start the next chapter of my life. I was guided by maps and spiritual forces that helped me to my unknown destination. I ended up in Tucson, Arizona. Eureka! I quickly found a metaphysical bookstore as if a magnet had pulled me there. The proprietor was a mystical type who introduced herself as a healer, a psychic, astrologer, and palm reader. She was also a science of mind minister and invited me to her classes in exchange for volunteering at the bookstore. I studied there for 3 years and met many incredible healers, mediums, and wise teachers. The Tucson desert and surrounding mountains were wondrous. My spiritual life was revitalized and blessed. Once again, on the road, as I was guided by spirit to move to California. No plans, just drive west and drive up the coast highway and use your intuition. Okay, got it. My journey's end was at Bodega Bay in Northern California. I moved inland to the redwoods near the Russian River and shared a communal household with spiritual seekers and enthusiastic macrobiotic friends. I worked as a daycare teacher and studied at the Berkeley Psychic Institute for 3 years. Those were fun and memorable evenings learning about grounding techniques, psychic protection, auras, and past lives. Their popular Church of Divine Man was a major departure from my Midwestern roots. It was so innovative, and I thrived. Twice a month, I attended spiritual services and seances directed by the Reverend Florence Becker at San Francisco's Golden Gate Spiritualist Church. She was a renowned deep trance medium and was known for her blindfolded billet readings, trumpet mediumship, and precipitated paintings. It was a rare privilege to witness her spiritual abilities and selfless service. This provided a deeper connection with the spirit world, which propelled my studies. While there in California for 5 years, I also studied Tibetan Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, transcendental meditation, and healing. Onward to Los Angeles for the next 5 years. I moved next door to Yogananda's Self-Realization Fellowship at the Lake Shrine, which was really high vibe. I spent quiet hours walking around the lake and visiting the bookshop. The extensive book collection helped me to become familiar with Vedanta teachings and meditation. I worked as a house cleaner in Beverly Hills and eventually found a clerical job at an accounting firm to the stars in Century City. Compiling all those tax preparation forms strengthened and grounded my mental focus. However, regular visits to the legendary Bodhi Tree bookstore were imperative to balance daily routines and my spiritual search. I also enrolled in Werner Erhardt's popular S training seminars, which was all about transformation, accountability, and possibility. Onward again, excuse me, and guided by spirit to the East Coast for a tangible jolt in vibration and intensity. Working in the world became a major theme as I continued to deepen my spiritual studies in Washington, D.C. and New York. Fast forward to New York City. During my first week as a newbie, I surprisingly prevented a pickpocket from stealing a tourist's wallet outside of Grand Central Station. What an unexpected initiation to establish street cred in the Big Apple. This motivated me to practice Japanese and Korean martial arts, fencing, and yoga, just to balance my new challenges of working at various high-powered Wall Street financial firms. During the evenings, I completed 5 years of training in spiritualism intuitive development, and Reiki. I was affiliated with the Aquarian Foundation, which studied the physical phenomena mediumship of its founder, Reverend Milton Reinhardt. After his passing, I joined the Spiritualist Church of New York City, where I participated in weekly services and message circles. Summer visits to Lilydale in upstate New York were golden treasures for my colleagues and me. Approximately 6 years ago, a dear colleague introduced me to SGNY by inviting me to Monday's fraternal assistant meeting. This fantastically and officially began my entry into Spiritist teachings. I joined the weekly classes and studied the codification of Allan Kardec's 5 books and many other wonderful books communicated by high order spirits. What a superb endeavor and blessing it continues to be. It is a treasure trove of wisdom shared among those who truly find value and opportunity to grow in goodness, unity, love, healing, and charity. I am so grateful to be part of the Spiritist Center and Spiritist Group of New York. May SGNY continue to be protected and guided as we evolve together and progress each day. Thank you.
Thank you, Carol. That's a beautiful journey. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's very special. And I would like to call now our friend Fabio Morelli. Hi, Fabio. Unmute, baby.
Hello.
Hi, Fabio.
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. I'm happy.
Good.
Fabio, let me ask you something about your journey. So how studying and understanding Spiritism impacts your daily life?
Sure. But before, I just want to congratulate the center for the anniversary. It's a tremendous feat to keep anything open for 20 years. So it's really, really wonderful that we are here to celebrate that. I'm sure that for them, as we already talked, Josara and João and Elmo, it seems like it was yesterday and time just flies, right? But yes, how it has impacted my life. I have been a medium my whole entire life since I can remember, since I was about 5, 6 years old. And so was my sister, is my sister, and my mom to a certain extent. So I was very much shown and taught from an early age about the spiritual world and the interactions that we can have with them, the energies that can be exchanged, what we can learn, and what we can waste our time with, because this is just me saying, it's for me it's all kind of the same group of people. We're just in different mind states. Some of us are incarnate, and a lot of us are discarnate. So studying it has impacted me tremendously because about 10 years ago, I was during a private mediumistic session with myself, and I was instructed to look for a spirit center in New York. I was not living in Manhattan then. I was living upstate New York, and I was told to look for a center of Norma. They gave me the name of Norma Center, and I had no idea who Norma was, who she was, and where was it. And I end up following up on that. I went to 1 or 2 Sunday sessions, and then on my 3rd time, I was late, very, very late, and I was in a cab waiting for the traffic light to change, and I looked to my left, and it was the address of SGNY, and I was like, oh, this is the other one that I could come. So I decided to join, and I never left. That was about 10 years ago. And then I spoke with Jusara and explained to her a little bit about myself and the mediumistic capabilities that I have that were always resurfacing. And then I started attending the Sundays meetings, the Thursday meetings, and then eventually the Monday meetings. When right after that, I was also told that I could practice this mediumship capabilities in the center, and then from every Monday nights, I would receive messages from spirits that were related to the people that have attended the center, that are related to people that attended the center now, and related to people who are going to attend the center. That was the general message that I was giving, that all these messages that I was receiving were essentially to be spoken, like Jusada does hers as well, and at the end of every meeting on Mondays. And then finally, I was able to put them into a book form, because that was the purpose of this almost 10 years work of receiving these messages. And because of my mediumship, and this is just me, but I end up meeting and hearing not only family members from my family that I met in this life, and even people that I haven't met, but also, and this is very important, spirits of everybody that have been attending the center, and also high elevated spirits who are there to help everybody. But the majority of those messages were from family members and energies or entities and spirits related to the people who were attending the center, trying to, study spiritism. And it seems like there's always this connection, you're always connected with the people that are closer to you. So if it wasn't a spirit center, if it was a hospital, you'd be also surrounded by spirits of your family members who are there to help you and are there to work with you. And in a sense of working with you, I did also during this 10 years, participated in the prayer sessions on Tuesday mornings, and I did that for maybe 3 or 4 years. And that was an incredible work, because it's when you can really see, for lack of a better word in my case, the work that is being done, when the prayers is applied to this cause of benefiting or making anything better, or someone better, or a situation better. It's an incredible and powerful Tuesday meetings, because there's a lot of very good intentions in those moments, and that seems to be like a great way of utilizing my mediumship, because there's many ways that you can use. I mean, I was to this day, I still draw and play piano and receive messages through other spirits. It doesn't happen as much as it used to, but it still does. And but the point is that that I would like to make about the studying is that once you're studying, you of course you see how it can be applied. And for me, that's the most important thing. If you aren't here to be, if you got this gift, and if you're here to be this vessel of communication, why not try to use it for not only for your betterment, but for for help for anyone else who needs it. Some people end up charging for this, for different kind of works, but it seems like in my life, I came here in this life to use this mediumship now, because I have had it in past lives. for this kind of work. You know, it was essentially to be to gather all these messages and of hope and learning and teachings and messages of faith from everybody that have come to the center. That's pretty much it.
Beautiful, Fabio. Beautiful journey, beautiful story. Thank you so much for this. And it's always great working with you. It's been a very big pleasure of mine.
Again, I guess to all
Honor.
the meetings that are here, it's not only a solo work, it's a combined work with everybody, the mentors, you know, the people who are not meetings, who are part of those Monday meetings. It's all a group effort that are able to bring, you know, the best of all the people that we know, that we have met. Because we always have the uncle who is a problem, but when he's on the other side, he's in a different situation, and he is there to help you. And once you ask for it in the perfect place and mindset, it's all good.
It's a blessed work. And now I would like to talk a little bit with our friend Renato. Renato, are you there?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hello, yes.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm good.
So, Renato,
yeah.
Do you think you have changed after studying Spiritism? And how so? And introduce yourself, of course, please.
Yeah, I think I became handsome. Just wait. No, first I would like to congratulate SGNY for the 20th anniversary. Jussara, João, Elmo, all the members, workers, and of course all the benefactors that made everything possible. And yeah, it has changed my life in different ways. I can talk for an hour, but you know, we don't need to do all that. But I've been part of the SGNY, I think it was 10 years. Yeah, almost 10 years. But the way I you know, get in touch, you know, met Spiritans was very subtle, very organic. I remember it was me, my dad, and my mom. We were in the living room watching TV. And suddenly my mom started to speak some sort of a Chinese, Japanese, whatever it was. It just scared us so much. We were like, what's happening here? And then we said, we need to figure this out. And, you know, after what happened, my mom, you know, tried to figure it out and asking questions. And, you know, we ended up going to a spirits group back in Brazil. I'm from Brazil, in São Paulo. And then when she got there, they explained what was happening to her. She had this ostensive mediumship, what we call. And then she started to work her way. And then she invited me, you know, me and my father, to get to know Spiritism, since, you know, she was pretty much going there few days in a week. And then as a, you know, little child, 10 years old, I started to attend the Spiritism for children. And for me, it was very interesting because at that time I was also going to the Catholic Church. And I see, you know, in the beginning, I really see the difference from the God that is mad and is going to punish you and everything. And the Spiritism was different now. It was like God was my pal. And I was like, okay. But it was too early to understand everything. So pretty much, you know, I worked my way. I was in Spiritism in and out, trying to figure out things. As I almost said, I also experienced the lower physical zones here. Very fun times, right? But when I moved to the United States, after looking for different religions, and I felt that something was missing, you know, I quite didn't understood why. And then I, you know, start praying, and then I realized that, you know, I need to get back to Spiritism. And then I went to different, you know, Spiritist groups here. And then one day I, find SGNY. I remember there was a lecture from, I think, a guy from Florida, Luis, I think is his name. I'm not sure if it was his name. And then since I was here, I was trying to improve my English as well. I was like, okay, this is good. I can improve my English and learn the Spiritism as well. But what I really believe that in terms of changing my life was the understanding and the ability to meet people where they are, with family, friends, co-workers. I'm more patient. I'm more understanding and see the difference, not try, right? Try not to judge as much as I would in the past. So with the teachings of Spiritism, it helped me to understand that we are in different levels, we are different people, we are here to mix and mingle, if you want to put it that way, and try to learn with each other. And the difference, it's okay. And you don't have to judge, you don't have to be upset about it. Also to deal with my emotions. Sometimes, you're up, you're down. With Spiritism, I could, figure out even when something is mine or is not mine. For those that work with mediumship, you know what I'm talking about. So that helped me understand as well, because sometimes your mood changes, you don't even know why. So you have tools in Spiritism to, you read a book, you participate on doing a prayer or talk to people. So we have a family here, you have all the support that help you to understand things that are happening in your life. And evidently for me, I'm a logical person, like João. I like to ask questions. Those who knows me, I fire a lot of questions all the time. I'm still trying to figure out all this information. So I like to understand what's happening. And the way that SGNY was assembled is just perfect for me. We have the studies group, we have access to everyone, João, Jussara, Elmo. You can reach out to them all the time. They will very gladly to answer a question and help you in any way they can. So really help me through the process that I'm going through. And of course, the goal is to become a better person. I'm still working on it, and I have a long way to go. Maybe a couple hundred reincarnations still, but I'm glad that I'm part of this family with this group. I believe that I can still work on my way, work on myself, and again become a better person. Thank you.
Beautiful, Renato. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for being to honor us with your presence in our group. I also love working with you in our mediumship work. Thank you so much. Now I'd like to invite Ricardo. Ricardo, are you there?
I'm here. Hi.
You are here. Hi, Ricardo. How are you?
Good morning. Good afternoon.
Ricardo is talking to us from Hawaii. I'm not going to even ask if you're having a good time, because that's it goes without saying, right?
Yep.
So, Ricardo, how does Spiritism influence your relationship with others?
Okay. Well,
how does that happen to you?
Well, thank you for having me here today. Happy 20th to all. I've been frequenting the SGNI for almost 10 years now. It was just like yesterday. I walked into the door, was like warmly greeted by João, and it's like 10 years just flew by in a second. And I remember, like, that was 10 years ago. He told me, he's like, as you get older, life gets really faster. And it's just like 10 years flew by like that. I can't even believe it. So I'm so grateful for SGNI in my life. It has enriched my life so much. The center has influenced my relationship to others by bringing an awareness of understanding that, like, I look around, I see my brothers and sisters. There's such an understanding that I have inside of me because of what we study, what we talk about, and all that good energy flow with everyone. It has given me patience, resignation, and a certain peaceful understanding that's so hard to put it in words. Like, it's really hard to put this in words. And then my relationship, both physical and spiritual, have been strengthened and brought to my awareness at this very special center. I'm eternally grateful for. I'm just gonna keep it short because really, like, just thank you to all the mentors and guides and workers and everyone that makes this special center a place we can reflect and study ourselves. And I really feel as a safe environment. You feel you can go there and really study yourself, reflect, see the goodness in yourself, the weakness that you need to work on, and just work on yourself. And I'm really in awe of all the mentors and the workers that tirelessly put their work and effort in. And just the opening from Jusada, I was already in tears just hearing her emotion of it already. See, it's like just hearing her emotion, her dedication is just contagious, and we just want to spread love and light into everyone around us. And I'm so honored that I get to be part of this group and get to go there and call it my second spiritual home. And just thank you, and I love you all. That was it.
Thank you, Ricardo. That was great. Yes, it's funny, not funny, but interesting how it is a very emotional day. I don't know, for me, I've been emotional since this morning, and I was not one of the founders. Can you imagine? It's because we know how serious it is, and how serious Jussara, João, and Elmo take this work. And the group of people we have the privilege to work with, they're all very elevated and hardworking souls, incarnate souls. And now the discarnates, of course, our mentors we might have the best ones. I don't know, because our whole group is so, we do, right?
Yeah, this is the only center I've ever been to. I never have no interest in going to any other center.
To another one. Yeah. Right? Me too.
Yeah, no. I'm like, I found it. That's it. All good.
I know. My biggest fear in life is to be kicked out of this group. I think it's my biggest fear, because I love going there so much and being part of this group of people, elevated intellectually and spiritual people. And thank you so much, Ricardo. Thank you for taking the time from Hawaii.
No, thanks for having me.
Talk to us. And I would love to talk a little bit with my friend Lillian, and ask Lillian to tell us a little bit about SGCT, Spirits Group Connecticut. Would you tell us, Lillian, how we started and everything?
So I don't even know how we started, because it was all, happening in a way. So I come from a family where we were not spiritists, but we were not spiritists, because we were very used to thinking about the spiritual world. It was just very natural for us to think that spirits were among us. So I grew up with that sense, but I hadn't, I went to a spiritist center here and there, but I never had any formal training until one day I was already living here in the US, and I called Flavia, who was my friend for a few years then. And I said, Flavia, there's something wrong with my house. Can you come bless my house? And she said, darling, that's not how it works. And I said, well, but it's just some heavy energy and this and that. And she said, why don't you come with me to the center in New York City? And I said, okay, I'll go. And it was one of the Monday night sessions. And, I had to be committed for 6 weeks. It's been 6 years, and I still go. Every time my card fills up, they find another card for me and another card for me, and I never left. So we started to drive every Monday night to New York City, became part of my life. You guys became my family, and the center became my home. So because we were so many people going from Connecticut to New York City, Vera and Jussara and Joe, they started to say, hey guys, why don't you start to do some study groups in Connecticut? And we were postponing that. Yeah, we're going to do it. And at one point, Flavia was not at the center that night, which was rare because she never misses a Monday night. But I had this urge. I felt that I was really dropping the ball if I didn't start the meetings right away. And then I told Vera, I said, you know, Vera, it's going to be next week. And Flavia is not here. Let's do it at my house. Let's just start doing that at my house because we need to start somehow. And then we find another way. We find a place to start. And she said, okay. So the following week, Jussara came, I think over the phone, if I'm not mistaken. But it was a group of us, Leonor and Marisol, if I'm not mistaken, and it was December 5th, 2019, or 2018, December 5th, 2018. So we had a small study group here, and it all became very clear why we were here, why this house, why this group, why we were doing the studies here and not in other places. For those who don't know, my house is from 1835 and has been a hospital during the Civil War in the United States. So there's a lot of history, a lot of healing going on, and there's a lot of interactions going on here. So we started to study the gospel once a week. Here at the house, and initially it was once a month, and then we started to do once a week, and to this day our group remains strong. It was helped by the COVID, because then we started to do meetings online, so it brought more people to our meetings, which was wonderful. We are doing now already chapter 19 of the gospel. And we've been meeting every week, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time. So I'm very, very grateful for what SGNY brought into my life. So we are a sister institution to SGNY, and we hope to continue to work throughout the years and expand our reach and just become, home to whoever wants to study Spiritism. You're welcome. The doors are open.
It is a true blessing, Lilian, and I'm very thankful for you for opening your home to us. And every week that we are able now, after vaccines and everything, that we are able to rush in, we sit at your dining table, we study, we leave, and it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing. Thank you very much for this. Thank you for being the center here for us. Now, I would like to ask our friend Zoraida. Zoraida, where are you?
I'm here.
Zoraida.
Yes.
I'm saving the best for last. I would like to ask you, how did you find SGNY? And now, how long have you been attending SGNY? You have a very interesting story for us.
Yes, I kind of explained it the other day with you, and I had
but nobody else heard.
No, but I had to call my sisters to reaffirm if what happened. So it's a little change here because of the timing. Well, anyway, may I first say that I'm Zoraida, and I am proud to say that I've been with the Spiritist Center for 20 years. And to begin, I'm going to give a little background of my family so we could have an idea. Okay. My grandparents on my mother's side were Spiritists from Puerto Rico. Mom married and migrated to New York City for a better life. She became a mother of 9 children in New York City. A mother who dedicated her love and dedication to us. And she knew, as a spiritist, background of spiritist, she knew it would be very impossible for her to teach Spiritism in New York. Besides, there was no place that she could go for us to have any instruction. After years, she decided to have us attend services at a Catholic church. Again, I keep saying she was a very wise, loving person. She did this to keep us grounded with God and Jesus in our lives. We even made our confirmation and communion. Mom never stopped praying, but she would always be sitting in a corner in the kitchen, looking out the window, praying. She had the three books, the Gospel, according to Spiritism, the Spirit's book, and the Medium's book in Spanish. She prayed a lot. Years passed, and one sister started showing signs of mediumship. We experienced spirit communications that she had done, and very, very surprising and not much understanding. Our mother had a dear friend from Puerto Rico who was a spiritist living in New York City. She located him and he immediately came. Nicholas was his name, was a very knowledgeable spiritist. We were now in our teens. Both Mom and Nicholas tried their best teaching us with a lot of patience. We respected and listened. We slowly started to understand, but very hard. We had a sister now who passed away. We studied about death, reincarnation, and the spirit world. It was becoming a little now clearer. It was a great help. But remember, we were children being brought up in New York City, actually in Manhattan. We all married then and began living our lives, but we never stopped studying and having prayer meetings. Our saddest day of our lives was when Mom became ill and passed away. We now had children of our own, trying to teach the little that we knew. Our children respected just as we did, but I found myself lost and wondering what was to come. Could there be a place where actually Spiritism was studied? I wanted to learn more. So I did some research. And at the time, computers were out. I don't want to go back so many years, but I had this crazy computer, a very big computer, very different from what it is now today. And I was contemplating, how are we going to continue this beautiful Spiritism? My mom had left us a little bit that we had learned. So I keyed in Allan Kardec. And out of surprise, I found a place. Allan Kardec's word came out in a list of information. I was shocked. Allan Kardec, how could it be? No one in New York City would speak about Spiritism, but I was shocked and happy and elated. Soon after, I found a place called Iglesia Moral in the Bronx that I called and spoke to a gentleman, and I asked questions, and I said, do you teach Spiritism? And he had said yes, and used the works of Allan Kardec. Well, I immediately asked for an appointment, and the gentleman said that, come and we will speak, and I will explain to you what we teach here. And I called one of my sisters and we went to visit it. We arrived and a man there, gentleman, came and greeted us. But what I noticed, the first thing I noticed was that he was asking questions. I felt very uncomfortable and left. I lost hope for a while, and out of the blue, something happened. A niece from our family had visited a book fair, and she was with a friend who was actually a spiritist. And she noticed Allan Kardec's works because she remembered that we would always study and do prayer meetings. And she asked if he understood that we now needed and were looking for assistance for us to continue learning Spiritism. And he had said that there was a group right here in Manhattan at 57th Street who teach Spiritism. She was amazed and actually shocked. So excited, she went home, called and spoke to her mom. She was in her 20s, I believe, and told her that she had found a gentleman who had told her about a place in Manhattan, 57th Street, who actually teach Spiritism. Again, shocked, baffled, not understanding a center in Spiritism that they teach. He gave her a card with all the information to contact someone from the Spirit Center, from the group. I called, and lo and behold, it was beautiful Jusara who picked up the phone. I was elated and still in shock. We spoke for a while, and I asked her questions. And her soft voice, she started to explain. I asked her, is there a center there that teaches Spiritism? And you use Allan Kardec's work? Very soft spoken, she said, yes. And I said, oh, I was in shock because after the experience of going to the first place I went, I said, there is no such a place. So she spoke and she invited me to come. And I asked her, could we come? Could we really come? And she said, yes. You bring your family, your sisters, whoever you want, you come to the center. I called my sisters, jumping like a crazy person and explaining to them that I found this place and I spoke with the person and they teach Spiritism. They couldn't believe it either, not in New York City. So we made plans. And we finally went and entered the place called the Spiritist Group of New York. We came in, there were a few people there, the same room that we use today, 20 years later. We went in, the place was different though, it's not like it is now. They had all mirrors, it was a dance studio, I believe. And I came in and I just looked around and, again, you have to understand that this was not going to happen, I believed, because so many years there was no place that we found. And so entered and she came, polite as she is, and we introduced each other. And I told her I was a person that I had talked to on the phone. And so she, we got comfortable, we sat down, and she was giving a lesson that day, and it was, she was on she used the blackboard, and I sat in the front row, and very, very emotional because all I thought was about my mom. Oh my God, did we finally find the place that she always wished that we could find and work with? Sat there with tears in my eyes, and Jusara was doing her lesson, and wished that, or knew probably that, I hope my mom is here. We finally found the place that you always want us to receive, and 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 grow with all that she was trying to teach us. And so we started. Years went by, and here we are. And actually, we were there after 9/11. I cannot believe that 20 years have gone by. And now I see, I've heard the stories, and it's like we all seem to have the same path. We arrive, we go through our tribulations or whatever, growing up, and we all of a sudden are here in this beautiful place, learning and experiencing Spiritism. And many have come and gone, teachers, uh, brothers and sisters that I've met, and never forget in my heart so much work and dedication. And now, soon after I joined the Spiritist group, Yusara one day came and asked if I would like to join the mediumship group. And I of course said, okay, but with a little hesitant because I was kind of uh, not enough educated on it. But it was an experience and beautiful. We used a small room that was right there on in the building, and a very small room, and we were a few of us there. Oh my God. And when we started mediumship, I could not believe what was going on. Uh, and thereon, I'm still part of the mediumship group of beautiful mediums. I am not a medium, but I am there to assist and help and learn so much. And now I understand what our mom had tried to teach us. And I'm so glad that I found a group of people that are so loving and so dedicated and concerned. When we have any personal issues, they're there for us, teaching us. We have the teachers that are so dedicated with this word. And I hope that one day I could be, not maybe not this world, maybe another world. I hope that I could be, uh, working toward and helping those that are in need, because there's so much for us to learn, so much. And 20 years have gone by, and I still believe I don't know much, but I will continue working and keeping my faith that there's a reason for everything that happens to us. And look at us, so many beautiful people that are helping each other and giving us so much to take with us. I hope that our Father will give us another 20 years together. I might not be here because my age right now, I'm more over there than here, but that's fine because I understand. So I am I give thanks to the Spiritist Group of New York, the teachers, the workers, mediums. Thank you for enlightening my life, and hope that I can give back as much as they have given me. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do. Thank you, Jussara, João, and Elmo, and everybody. Thank you. I'm gonna Lillian, it's you to know. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you.
After this beautiful, beautiful block, thank you, Flavia, for presenting it, for organizing it. It was very, very well thought of, and it was wonderful to hear everybody's stories. I would like to invite you all to lunch. We're going to break for 30 minutes for lunch while you enjoy some music by our very own Fabio Morelli. And there's a special slideshow for you with images that tell the story of SGNY. So we'll come back at 1:30 for a presentation about our youth study group. Thank you.